Joining me now is Richard Bevan from Cassini Resources. Richard, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Danielle.
So we've been covering Cassini on Proactive Investors for quite a while now, but This is your first video.
It is.
So please tell us a bit about Cassini. What sets you apart and what are your projects?
Yeah, well, we've got a range of projects. I think one of the things that sets us apart is that we've been an explorer, and we've also now got a development sort of dimension to the company. So we've got our flagship project is the West Musgrave Project, and that's currently in pre-feasibility stage with our joint venture partner, Oz Minerals. So we've got a really solid development project with a great portfolio of exploration assets.
But first of all, I want to speak to you about Yarawindah in particular, because there's been a lot of news coming out of that. You've just done some electromagnetic surveys and identified some targets.
Yeah, Yarawindah's actually just come into our portfolio, so we're earning into that project. It's a really interesting project. It's quite close to Perth. It's had a non-compliant PGE resource on it, and it's had some sort of a broken history of exploration. So it's had some great hits of massive sulfide with some good nickel and copper and cobalt grades. And so it's an opportunity for us to take some of the learnings that we had at the West Musgrave Project and apply them to really an underexplored project. So we've just flown some EM and that's been great. It's verified where the mineralisation is that we know and identified a couple of really key conductors that will go into our follow-up drill program. And
you've also done an EM survey at your West Arunta site with the drill program slated for June, and this is co-founded by the government there.
It is. So thank you to the West Australian government. West Arunta we've had for a while, and we did some drilling out there in 2016 it's a sedimentary zinc target. We've shown that there's proof of concept. We've got some anomalous zinc, but our first round program didn't really hit any primary mineralisation. So we've just completed flying an EM program over that area. The results are probably about a week away, and then we're looking to get out there in June and drill that. So that's quite exciting. It's quite remote, but it's a really large scale kind of regional opportunity.
Cassini's very busy, and we still haven't spoken about West Musgrave, which is your flagship. A lot happening there with your JV partner. Tell us all about West Musgrave. What's the latest?
Yeah, it's busy. The West Musgrave is really very much entrenched in the pre-feasibility stage. The site and field works are underway. We've got sort of in excess of 30 people on site out there, 4 drill rigs. Currently we're doing a lot of work around collecting metallurgy samples and the resource drill out, but very soon that'll start to the drilling program will also start to focus on our exploration targets in that project. So it's a great project. It's a large project, and hence why we have an excellent funding partner in Oz Minerals. But it's reasonably unique. It's got a great development asset, but it's also got significant upside in the exploration side of the project.
And that will keep you busy for much of this half of the year?
It will. Yeah, we're expecting really the way that this year has been structured is that the development activity will continue in the background with some very key milestones over the next 6 to 9 months. But there's a lot of exploration work coming up, you know, as you mentioned, at Yarawindah, at West Arunta, and then the exploration work at the West Musgrave.
And indeed, second half of the year, I know you're looking to get back into Mount Squires, do some exploration there?
Yeah. Again, we haven't done a lot at Mount Squires. It's a project that has had some historical drilling. It's a gold project. It's adjacent to the West Musgrave, but it's not involved in the joint venture. There's been some good drill intercepts of gold mineralisation close to surface. So we're looking in the second half of the year, which is probably about the first chance we're going to get to put it into the program, to get back out there and do some work, and hopefully we'll drill that sort of later this year.
So a lot happening there, Richard, for Cassini.
Yep.
Could you tell me, for a company like yours that's focused on so many commodities, a lot of base metals, some precious metals, do commodity price fluctuations and projections, do they affect your strategies and priorities at all, or is your program pretty well prioritized for the next near to medium term?
I think commodity price can influence your short-term strategy in terms of the projects that you're looking to progress and to meet, I guess, the opportunities in the market and to provide your shareholders some upside to that commodity. But I think we have demonstrated this, that we've got very much a longer-term view on some of these commodities, and I think the challenge for small companies is actually progressing these through the commodity cycles, staying true to what you believe is a valuable commodity. We know at the West Musgrave that nickel and copper are both going forwards. The outlook is very strong. Both of them have had their sort of flat spots in the last few years, but I think you've got to remain focused on the prize and really the opportunity is to stay with that strategy if you believe in it, and that should position you well at the end of the day.
A lot happening at a lot of sites this year for Cassini. Could you please remind us what are the next key news flows that investors should really keep their eyes open for?
Yeah, the key things we've got coming up, we've just completed the EM at the West Arunta, and so we hope to have some releases out around that targeting work, and then also a drill program in June. The Yarawindah, we've identified some good drill targets there. We probably won't get to those until sort of Q3 next year. The West Musgrave Project is probably the bulk of activity. There's a lot of drilling and activity going on there, with some exploration work to start on some really great targets probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And that program will pretty much run through to the end of the year. So we're hoping we'll have good news flow, good opportunity, and some exciting times ahead.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, a lot going on. All the best for Cassini.
Great. Thanks, Daniel.
Cheers.